Alright, so to explain how Vanguard works, first we'll have to look into the cards.
Yeah.
Now, we have a spread of cards which are important to standard format specifically. So, as you can see, it's an interesting spread of art. First of all, you can take the time to appreciate some of the art of the cards as they are in the Invented Center. So aside from, well, after we appreciate the art, now we go into the actual mechanical side of it. The first thing we have to take a look at is on the top left of each of the cards here, you'll see a pretty large number, usually ranging from 0 to 3. So these are very important, as generally speaking, the higher the grade, the stronger the card in the very essence of it. There are exceptions, of course, which change how they're used, but the primary thing is bigger grade, stronger card, supposedly. Now, in terms of like the types of cards we'll be focusing on is, first of all, we have our normal units, which is the bread and butter of Vanguard.
Okay.
The most of your cards in your deck will be normal units. Next is the trigger units. Trigger units will always have a symbol on the top right of the card, which will be a particular trigger effect. So in where it's relevant, when you are ever placed in the trigger zone, you can activate a trigger to resolve any of its effects. There are primarily 5 kinds of triggers in standard, which are the critical trigger, which is the one I just showed, the heal trigger, which are the green ones over here.
Which ones? Like
this is heal.
Okay.
It says heal right there at the bottom.
Okay. Do you mind if I?
Sure.
It's this one, right?
Yeah. The draw trigger, which is the one over here. It says draw.
A bit lower. Yeah. There we go.
And then the front trigger.
Okay.
And then the all-encompassing, the most powerful trigger introduced to the game, the over trigger.
What does that do?
It has 100 million power, which is a very
100 million.
which is a arbitrary number. I'll tell you that much. And the last type of card, which are order cards. Order cards work completely different from how units work. So we'll go over how they're all going to be used later. So aside from the primary grade and type of card, they also have their pretty large number on the bottom of the card over here, which is very important that we look at that.
Okay.
This is the power of the card. So aside from the grade, this is actually how to tell how powerful a card is in its base form. Is how it is having a higher power or base power over there.
Gotcha.
Aside from that, any other effects on the card are written in their little text boxes with each of their different type of wording.
I have a
Yes?
question, if you don't mind. Like, so which ones are like the how do I say this? The rarities? Like, this is like commons, and that would be.
Unfortunately, we can't look at rarity because these are all from the starter decks, which are sealed products. So there's no rarities in sealed products. Aside from maybe the fact that some of them are foiled, which is more of a guarantee than anything.
I gotcha.
They used to do some special prints for sealed products, but not as much.
Not gonna lie, you know who I thought that was?
What? Yeah, apparently they took an inspiration from that. They took inspiration.
I guess this card.
Well, then again, it's a broken egg. We've seen it in Digimon.
Pretty much every anime ever.
All right, this is the example of card that doesn't come from a sealed product. You'll notice that there is a little tag here on the bottom part of the card, bottom left, where it will include its serial number, more or less from what set it is, what its card number is for that particular set, as well as its rarity. This one in particular is a triple rare, so you'll see 3 R's in gold over there at the bottom.
So more or less it's easy to identify which rarity it is. It's not just like on the how foiled it is.
No, it's on the card. Usually the higher rarity, the better the foiling, but quote unquote. This one has the double R on the bottom left.
Okay.
See that? So the other one had triple R with gold. This one is silver with double. There's also the other rarities, rares, which has 1 R, the common is C.
And this is one, which is SP, which is the FFR. Sorry, the what is this? Yeah, it is an FFR. What do you know?
Yeah. So generally, that's how we tell rarity.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for now?
No, please
Okay.
proceed.
All right. So I'll be stepping these up here so that we can take a look at the field, which is perfect because we have these particular play mats which show us the field zones pretty easily.
And these paper playmats come with every sealed decks.
Yeah, the sealed products come with starter decks, trial decks, as well as deck sets. Will come with a paper playmat. Alright, so when you look at the field, you'll notice that there's a couple of circles, well, some named zones, which basically don't mean anything to on their own. So first of all, we have the part here, which is the deck and the ride deck, where these are the positions where you would position your deck. And in standard, we have, as I mentioned, there's 4 cards separated from the main deck, which would be your ride deck, which is a set of 4 cards, which are graded from 0 to 3, which is placed over on the side, which is that's where you go. Then you have the drop zone, where this is basically your discard pile, your graveyard, the graveyard basically. That's how it is for the Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Yes.
Graveyard. So it's your graveyard, or perhaps it's called the drop zone.
Do you guys also have like how do I say this?
Yes.
You see, like in like example in Magic they call it the exile zone, I believe, and Yu-Gi-Oh
Yes.
has the banished zone.
Yes, we have something known as the bind zone. Bind zone is an area that's not indicated on the playmat. It's just placed just outside your playmat.
Okay.
Just outside your playmat is where your bind zone is. Then over onto our field zones, we have these 6 circles. Now these 6 circles are for your units or your monsters. Where the center, this large one in the center, is known as the Vanguard circle. The Vanguard circle is your primary unit. It is, in terms of flavor, it is the representation of you on your battlefield. It is generally it's your substitute, basically. Then all the other rear guard circles, which are the Rs, or another way known as rear guards, are anyone or the units you play on the field to sort of assist you in battle.
Gotcha.
And then the circle here in the center, which is combined with the 2 circles, is the Guardian Circle, which is where you play Guardians, which are used to sort of help defend against your opponent's attacks. Then, over the left side, we have our Order Zone, which is where certain particular cards are placed, which are cards known as set orders. They are similar to the order cards. They're not units, but they're placed there for persisting effects, similar to enchantments in Magic, or
Spell cards, something like that.
or field spells.
Field spells.
Field spells. So there can be any amount of cards there in the order zone as long as it's stated by your cards that you're last, of course, is our damage zone. Now, as I mentioned, when it comes to our win condition, this is the most important part. As the game goes on, your Vanguard will be taking damage. Whenever your Vanguard takes damage, cards will accumulate in your damage zone. Once you have 6 cards in your damage zone, you lose the game.
Okay. So pretty much basically it's as long as you inflict like 6 damage to your opponent.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. So when a attack hits, there's one more part of the card which I did not mention because it's always understood to be 1, where it's very rare that this is ever more than 1. But there are instances where the base critical, there's a little star symbol on the bottom of the card, it's center right next to the power. This is normally almost always 1. Almost. So what that means is the amount of damage you'll be dealing to a Vanguard whenever you hit the Vanguard with that unit. If you hit the Vanguard with a unit with critical of 1, that will deal 1 damage, which means they'll be taking 1 card from the top of their deck they'll reveal it, and they'll put it into their damage. So if you had a critical of 2, it increases the amount of damage you deal, and that changes the amount of damage that they will be willing to take at a period of time.
Gotcha.
Critical can increase through the different card effects, so primarily the most common being the critical trigger, which increases the amount of critical a unit has. Once you get into sort of how the game flows, it flows very smoothly. Last thing to note is the trigger check zone. This is where all cards which are drive check or damage check will first be placed on the trigger check zone to see if they have a trigger. If they have a trigger, you can resolve the trigger and then move it to its designated zone. For drive checks, they go to the hand. For damage checks, they go to the damage zone. The next phase, we can proceed to a sample game where me and Israel fight with some trial decks to sort of show you the basic flow of a turn.
Yes.
And then later, you can try a game yourself.
Yes. I guess it's better yet to demonstrate it, because I was about to ask, like, how is the, like for example in Yu-Gi-Oh we have draw phase, standby phase, main phase, 1 battle phase.
Yes.
So I guess it's better to show me.
Okay, so for now, if you don't mind, we'll shuffle up.
Yep.
We'll prepare ourselves with everything, and I can actually go into game setup later.